In an unpredictable world where everyone strives to be extravagant, two men dare to be average.
Ain't nobody gonna hate on us.
Either way, that's
If
fine.
so, fuck them.
I was gonna say a lot of people probably hate on us. That's cool.
Why expect the best when you can settle for the rest? Adam McElroy,
Hate the phrase Mercury retrograde.
Ryan Baker.
I mean,
Now-
dogs walk around, you can see their penis.
It's the Average AF Podcast.
The Average AF Podcast can be listened to on all major streaming services. I'm talking really fast right now because that's what they do in movie trailers. Please drink responsibly. Blah, 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 blah.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Average AF Podcast. And I got the Rona. Guys. I'm kind of recording this on the fly. Obviously, we got to put something out. I'm a workaholic. It's a problem. And I've realized that more through COVID. But I just wanted to say this episode's probably not going to be like the most high energy episode, obviously. Still pretty sick. It's Sunday right now. We normally record on Friday, but well, obviously I'm sick, so like the guys weren't going to come over, but I was still planning on recording an episode Friday, kind of on the solo, kind of like this, and I just was not feeling it. Been kind of sick the last couple days, still kind of sick, but on the back end I can tell. But yeah, we have to put something out there for you guys. That's what we do every week, no matter what. And it's kind of a challenge this week to record by myself, you know? So I've recorded a couple solo things before, and it's weird, but, you know, we got to get used to it. If we're going to be professionals, we got to be able to do every aspect. So I'm excited, though, because later here in the episode, we are joined by the Teach a Dummy guys, obviously over, it was actually Facebook Messenger video call or a Rooms or whatever it's called. But we're joined by them. So that was the first remote podcast I've ever done. And it was pretty cool because they were actually recording on their end as well, their episode. So it's kind of like a simulcast type thing. That's what I called it, but I don't think that's what it's actually called. But yeah, I wanted to record a little bit here on the top, just because obviously I have COVID. So a lot of people are curious about it. A lot of people have been reaching out, asking them if I'm good, if I need anything. So I really appreciate everybody for doing that. That definitely means a lot to me. But yeah, I'm good. Just been kind of sick. I tested positive, I think, on Tuesday. And yeah, symptoms just kind of got worse and worse from there. But I mean, at the end of it, it wasn't too terrible. It was just kind of like a, you know, what everybody says, a severe cold, a severe cough, tired, fatigued, you know, slept a lot, which is good for me, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything like too terrible. It was definitely worse in the mornings. There was one morning that I kind of went off on people, and it really kind of boiled down to me being aggravated, me being sick. So, but I think it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys how I've been, how the quarantine's been, how COVID's been in general, and then, like I said, we'll jump into the episode with the guys. It's pretty cool. We might open up. I know I've said it before, but or I've said we haven't wanted to do it before, but doing the Zoom stuff, the video call stuff, it wasn't too bad, man. It wasn't too bad. So we might open it up, some episodes to that. Let me know what you guys think. When we go to it, you'll see, obviously, there's two different videos, me and them, separated with a background type thing. I don't know. Just something I kind of put together. Let me know what you guys think of it. Definitely check it out on YouTube if you're just listening to audio. But yeah, I don't know. I was well, I guess diagnosed, is that the right word? I tested positive on Tuesday. And it was like no big deal, really. I mean, I kind of assumed I had it just because I was in contact with somebody that had it. And it was just interesting because I get tested and whatever, and then a new doctor comes in. I'm like, all right, well, I'm definitely positive now. And he was talking to me. He was real chill, no big deal. But it was interesting because his mask kept falling below, like, his mouth, and he kept putting it back up. But you could tell he didn't really, care. And it kept falling, and he was like, fuck, this guy's got COVID. I should, just at least for optics, put it back up. So, I don't know. It was interesting. He was like, yeah, you'll be fine. It's nothing bad's going to happen, obviously, which I wasn't worried about anyway. But, and it was interesting because he actually offered me, what did he call it? I keep wanting to say he called it like a concoction, but I don't think that's what it was. He said something along those lines. He was like, have you heard about the new, concoction that we're offering people? I don't think he said concoction, but it was something along those lines. I don't know. It was just an interesting way of wording it. And obviously with the Rogan, the ivermectin, everybody knows about that. So I was like, I'm just kind of interested. And I was like, well, I've heard, I've kind of heard some general things, but not really specifics. Now, he didn't say ivermectin, but he did say the monoclonal antibodies, which everybody seems to be getting. Rogan himself said that's, kind of what he thinks helped him. Damn, almost fucked that up. And I think Dana White got it too. The UFC president said that's what helped them. But yeah, he offered that to me. It basically said, if it gets worse, we can do that. But, it's kind of coming in waves, but not terrible, man. I mean, nothing to need to go to the doctor about, to be honest with you. I've just been kind of annoyed, kind of bored, If you guys know me, which you do if you're listening to this, I do not like to sit still. I don't like to not be productive, and that's definitely been a challenge for me during this. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if it works out, I'm trying to go with a 2-camera setup just because I'm fucking in quarantine. I don't have anything to do. And, obviously Baker's not here, BJ or Tim's not here either. So our second camera, we got nothing to do with it. So I figured I'm going to try, to go kind of back and forth between the cameras just to see how it works out, test some things out since I got time. I don't have time to do this during a normal week, though. So don't get used to it, but let me know what you think. Hashtag watch the video. The obligatory hashtag points at the camera. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been watching TV. I bought the new UFC game, or I don't know if it's new anymore, but the most recent UFC game, which, again, I'm not much of a gamer either, but obviously, dire times. Is that the right phrase? Who knows? I'm an idiot. But yeah, the weirdest thing, well, the reason I'm all over the fucking place, just so you guys know, the weirdest thing about this is the COVID fog. That's kind of the terminology I've heard used for it. It's so fucking real. I lose my train of thought all the time, even without COVID, first of all, but especially with COVID. I mean, yeah, I can't remember much, especially short-term stuff. I don't know if that's COVID or a mixture of some other things going on or whatever that obviously I'll keep out of the episode. But there's a couple different things that could be causing that, but it's definitely significantly gotten worse. And it's definitely weird. I don't know. it's definitely strange to kind of lose your train of thought. I actually have a list over here like we normally do for our episodes because I'm only probably going to record here 15, 20 minutes maybe, and I need a list because I'm going to lose my train of thought. It's going to be all bad. But yeah, I got the new UFC game. I didn't really expand on that. It was pretty cool because it's usually $60 or $70 or whatever. I think it's like the deluxe version. I don't know, but the deluxe edition. Talking has been tough lately too. And it's usually like $60 or $70. And I just happened to look, and it must have been a Black Friday deal or like a Cyber Monday deal or something of that sort. But it was like 70% off, and it was like $21. So I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to keep me entertained. I think at some point on Saturday, I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was Saturday. I won the lightweight title in the UFC game, because I'm a monster. And then I moved up to heavyweight too. Got a 2-division champ. What up? 30-year-old man bragging about video games. What up? No, but that's really kind of the only thing that's been keeping me entertained. That doing some editing. Like I said, I'm kind of trying this 2-camera thing right now. And I had to put the video together that you'll see here in a couple minutes with the guys. And it's been cool because I've just been kind of learning some new tricks and how to do certain things with the video editing and things like that. So that's been pretty cool. I always like to learn all that stuff. I mean, I got, video editing stuff that I would love to learn that I kind of internally have a list that I want to learn. But I just don't have time. So it's been kind of cool to relax, to sit at home and, learn a little bit. But a lot of the time, I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at least those 3 days, maybe a little bit Friday too, I slept a lot. So I didn't really get too much done. But yeah, I slept a lot, which has been great for me. Obviously, I don't sleep much in general, so this has been very nice. And it's, it's just such a relief sometimes, especially like yesterday on Saturday, or Friday night, when I can go to bed and not have to set an alarm. Oh my God. Because normally, even on my days off, I have to set an alarm to wake up to go get Harper and everything like that, and, start my whole day on the weekend. But yeah, it's been a blessing the last couple days to be able to, sleep in, not set an alarm. Last night, like I said, I was playing the UFC game. I was up till 4:30 in the morning just because I knew today there's literally nothing I have to do today. There's nothing I can do today other than record this. I had this little 15, 20-minute thing to record, and I knew that, obviously. But aside from that, I didn't have shit to do today. So it's been nice. I don't know what else to really talk about. COVID's not too bad. I'm surprised I'm just now getting it, to be honest with you. I thought at this point I was probably like, got it a long time ago and was asymptomatic is kind of what I assumed at this point. But to be almost 2 years in and finally get it, crazy. But it is what it is. Still a little stuffy, still a little tired. My 10-day quarantine technically ends tomorrow on Monday because my first symptoms were on like the Saturday prior. But, I just kind of thought I was kind of like this, like stuffy, a little sick, nothing major. So I didn't really think about COVID or anything. And then a person that I'm around a lot said they tested positive, and I was like, all right, well, that's probably what it is. So my 10-day quarantine technically ends tomorrow. I'll probably go get tested tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, just to kind of make sure that I don't have anything. And then I can go back to work the following week after that. I have still been working every day, though. which, I mean, you can judge me or whatever, but especially in quarantine, like I felt like shit, so I didn't want to work. But at the same time, like, it definitely helped 3 or 4 days go by because I had something to do. And with my job, you can kind of relax a little bit sometimes, but you're definitely going to have to make up for that when you're not relaxing because it's just so fast-paced. There's so much coming in. But, yeah, so I definitely relaxed a little, but it was nice to have something to do. And then... like I said, Friday night, we recorded with the guys over Facebook, just kind of right here, just like this. And then the last 2 days have been mainly, watching football, playing the game. Obviously, there was a real UFC event on last night, which was killer. So obviously watched that. So I haven't been super bored too much. But I just, I don't know, I don't know. It is what it is. It's a typical quarantine. It's what everybody else is saying. But I wanted to give you guys an update as to, how I've been feeling and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's really much more than that to go over. Just so you guys know. Before Baker and BJ get here next week to record. I'm going to have like all new pop filters and, everything's going to be sanitized. Obviously, nobody's going to be getting sick. Me and Baker were around each other for a second on Monday, just kind of for a minute here or there. But as far as I know, he feels fine. He didn't get sick or anything like that. The Teach a Dummy guys are good as well. My parents all tested negative and things like that, so everybody around me is good, everybody's safe, everybody's healthy, and I'm relatively healthy. I just, like I said, I got like a runny nose right now, kind of getting hot, but that's probably all the lights and stuff, so, or the hot flashes, because I'm a fucking old lady. Yeah, so... I don't know. I don't think there's really much more to say. Thank you guys again for everybody reaching out. Thank you if you've listened this far, to me rambling for 15 minutes or however long it's been. I commend you for that. Because I'm already getting annoyed with myself, and I'm not the one listening to it in my car or at work or whatever. Who knows? I'm going off on a tangent now. We do have an obligation, just so you guys know, obviously, to shout out our sponsors and everything like that on each episode. That's what they pay us to do. I do not feel like doing that this week. So, I'm honestly, you'll hear or see here in a minute a cut-in from a previous episode, from a previous ad segment that we ran. I definitely recommend listening to them, though, just because they're fun, guys. We try to make our ads as fun as possible. That way you actually do listen to it. You know what I mean? That way you can get that $100 from Nate real easily. You know what I mean? So, obviously we want you guys to listen to it. I understand if you're fast forwarding through it, but there's a lot of gold that happens in the ads. Just so you guys know, we go off on tangents. We cuss a lot, which we probably shouldn't, but they haven't said anything yet, so we're going to continue having fun. We talked about picking up, like, hookers in one of them. I mean, it gets wild. It gets wild. But that's where we have the most energy, honestly, is usually in the ads because we record those after the episode is over. And then, that's a little inside baseball, but we record it after the episode's over. And then, we just use the last available energy to say some dumb shit. Again, I'm rambling. Thank you guys for checking it out. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share. Please check out our ads. Check out our sponsors. Check out the merch. Check out the Patreon. Check out Teach a Dummy. Check out Greener Grass. Check out everything. We appreciate you guys. We definitely couldn't do this without you. I hope this episode lives up to your standards of our idiocy, and I hope you enjoy listening to me learn something on the Teach a Dummy podcast. Thank you guys. I guess that's all. Bye. All right, guys, a little break in the action here to shout out our small business sponsors. Don't cuss during the ads. And our Patreon producers, even though I do it every week. But shout out to our Patreon producers. If you guys want to support the show, please hit the link in the description, patreon.com/AverageAF podcast. And you can subscribe for just $1 a month there. Get the annual subscription.
There you go.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Words are tough. We established that. But yeah, for like $10, $11 for the whole year or something like that.
That's right.
Definitely go check it out. But our Patreon producers, they are Taylor, Patty Lite, Barili, Joel, Sarah, Steve, Anthony, Jeremiah, twitch.tv/EvilTony, and the Teach a Dummy podcast. Definitely go follow them as well. Teach a Dummy on all of your audio platforms. They are fucking great. Hey, dude, I make the rules, okay? That was worth it. Who else we got?
We got a shout out to our day ones.
Oh, no.
Brew Baker Photography. Yo, hit up our local businesses here. Hit them up on Facebook.
Here.
Brew Baker Photography.
Here.
Number 1.
Oh, no.
After the Facebook.com/ you know what I mean? Chicka. But definitely hit them up on Facebook. They have a couple new photos out there. They got a pretty dope one out from Halloween. So make sure you guys check that out. Hit them up. Get some wallpapers.
Yeah, dude.
Shoot them some requests of what you'd like to see.
Yup.
Hit that community tab.
Yup.
Share it.
Yup.
With everybody.
Yup.
Support.
Yup.
Your.
Yup.
Local.
Yup.
Business. Cheer.
We're dumb. But yeah, thank you, Brewbaker Photography. We also need to give a shout out to the
who?
man,
Who?
the myth,
The what?
the legend,
Oh, shoot.
Nate Collins. Nate is at Spitzer here in Mansfield on 4th Street.
Spitzer.
And if you need a new or used vehicle, definitely hit him up.
Hit him up.
He's and I do say this on every ad, but I literally mean it. He's one of the best people I've ever met.
Very cool,
and
dude.
He's gonna hook you up also.
Hook you
If you
up.
get a vehicle off of him, I wanted to make an R. Kelly joke, but if you want to get a vehicle off of him, he will throw in free car washes for the life of the vehicle.
Oh, life.
And he's got another bonus.
Oh, shoot.
Where you're but you can make some extra money, dude.
How can you do that?
If you
Tell 'em.
recommend Nate to somebody and they need a new car, have them go down to Spitzer and Mansfield. If they mention your name that you recommended them, he will send you $100
That's 100.
cash.
That's
money.
that one president.
Yeah.
You can have him in your pocket.
Real quick, or your Venmo or your Cash App,
Shoot.
probably. I don't know. He's gonna give you a bill though.
Holla.
Definitely hit him up. Call or text 419-961-4581.
Holla.
We appreciate all of our sponsors and our supporters. And if you want your ad read like this, hit us up on patreon.com/AverageAF podcast.
Do it.
We appreciate you
We
guys.
love you guys.
Back to the action.
Are we coming through on your end okay?
Yeah, you're plugged up into the Roadcaster, and we're recording your audio
Nice.
through the iPad and everything.
This is a Zoom PodTrack P8 podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm glad. Hey, I wanted to ask you, how you feeling, man? How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm good. It's definitely coming in waves. Yeah, like mornings are definitely bad, but like right now, I'm probably, I would say 90%-ish, something like that. So I feel pretty good. Kind of like
good.
stuffed up and sore throat and stuff, but nothing crazy. I'm all
Okay.
good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're toughing through and doing it okay, man. We really, we appreciate you in general.
Oh.
I'm sad I couldn't be there with you tonight. I was coming up with some current events and what have you to hang out on your podcast. So I wanted to ask you. We didn't get to talk about this before. This is kind of we just kind of sprung this whole thing happened, with life and everything going on.
Right.
Didn't really get to prepare. Do you want to run on like our format? Do you want us to run on your format?
I mean,
Tim's got a game.
Yeah.
And then I've got three dumb things.
Okay.
It's
well, we could do whatever you want.
Advice.
Our show has no format except what you guys bring. So, no, I don't mind. The only thing with my end, this is like a really, really shitty iPad. So the memory's not very good. So the video recording, like the screen recording, only lasts probably 30 minutes or so.
Well, do you want to like
do the first half?
Do you want to turn us like off at some point, or do you want to just put it? You know what you should do is just turn our video off too, and then put like really crappy pictures like the news does when it's like the face of this person on the phone.
Right.
You blank my face out like they do, and
I think what my plan was, which we could do whatever you guys want to do, but was to like record with you guys for half hour ish, give or take.
Sure.
And then on my end, I can just record a little solo in the beginning because solo's weird, and I still want to get used to it. So I was like, all right, let's try to do a little like half hour by myself.
Idea.
So it'll be weird, but yeah,
Well, let's do a couple of the tropes from our podcast.
Let's go
real quick, and then you can like decide when you want to turn us off.
Okay.
And then we'll finish out.
Okay.
So what if I jump into like our three dumb things, and then maybe we do some dad advice to give your listeners maybe a little taste of kind of what we have.
Absolutely.
So
you're way more professional and put together show. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. So let's jump into what are we gonna do first? Let's go three dumb things. 3, 2, 1, 3 dumb things. All right, so for this three dumb things, I usually find these top three dumb things or whatever.
Yeah.
But on this one, I saw a TikTok trend that was happening where it's like things I had to apologize to my wife for. There's like it's like these randomly crazy things. Like I forgot my wife's friend's name that I only met once at a funeral 10 years ago, and I had to apologize for that. And there's like things like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to be like hypersensitive.
Yeah.
And realize when I'm apologizing to my wife and see if there's some silliness there. Big disclosure: I love my wife more than anyone on this planet, and this is just to be silly. There's nothing. There's no malice or anything towards this. I love my wife, but I noticed like a couple things that I did that I apologized for that I thought was kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But we're like serious in the moment. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So, number 3, I'll go with number 3. I wrote it down. I said clutch after something I was waiting for arrived at our house.
Why is that bad?
My wife got mad, and I'm like, oh, did that thing arrive from Amazon? She's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, clutch. And she's like. She's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh,
that's fair. That's
sorry,
fair,
baby."
That's a fair one.
I don't understand that one. I would say that, but I'm probably in the minority.
My wife, oh
God,
my wife is very
anti-slang.
Yes, very anti-slang, very professional in communication, and all
unless
that.
It's like in jest,
Yes.
Yeah.
And she gets very bonkers around like that stuff. She hates. She could tell when I used to work with and or hang out with Jim, because I would say like the most recent slang, and she would just get bonkers. But when she says it it drives me bonkers because she's just like,
Because she's
is it
allowed.
lit?
Because she's allowed
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
She's like, is it lit, BJ? Huh? I'm like, you're doing this on purpose. You got to stop.
Well, that's the hard part with stuff like that is she's saying it ironically, which is
Yeah.
how
Yeah, right.
which is how it all starts. And then you just continue to
true.
say it, and it's a habit, and it's a problem. Or maybe,
It's really true. Yeah, it's so
or
true.
or
True.
maybe it's just me because I have a low IQ. That could just apply to
No,
me.
no.
But
Welcome to the proper podcast for that. All right, number 2, I washed the dirty clothes she had sitting in front of the washer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that is a sacred place in front of the washer. Like I had a bunch of, like,
Yeah, you just
My-
threw them in with yours.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a bunch of work clothes that I had just, the stuff that I do, I have to spray off equipment and stuff. I get dirty every day. And I was just grabbing all my stuff and I'm like, dirty boy. And I scooped all my laundry up and I threw it in the washer and I looked down and there's laundry there. So I scoop that up and I throw that in the washer and I wash it. And then I come back. My wife goes to change the laundry and I hear her like audibly gasp.
Were they like nice clothes?
Not nice.
Oh,
clothes.
okay.
I know her nice clothes because I've
All right,
done this
all right.
before and had to apologize. This stuff just seemed to me. It seemed like.
that's a good husband. To me that. I mean,
Thank you, Adam.
I'm the only
tell her you
single
said
one
that.
here, but like, yeah, like you're just
You're just trying to get vindication right now, aren't you?
you're just trying to help, and
That's
I
what
don't
I
know.
thought. Is 100% what I thought because, and also in her world, it's like it's hard for her to like yell at me because she's like, well, he was trying,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
but it was like one of those things, like,
But
these-
also, he
these
needs
you have to-
yelled at.
yeah. It was like one of those things, like, oh, these are only supposed to be washed on cold.
Oh,
only
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be
yeah.
washed because we don't
Oh,
want them
okay.
to do this, that, or the other. I didn't know. I just saw laundry because that's also where, like, in front of the washer, like, to not wake up my wife in the morning. Like, I exercise in the morning,
Mm.
and I throw my exercise clothes after I get dressed in the bathroom. I throw my exercise clothes in front of the washer. I usually just, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know they're dirty,
So you
so I
just
don't go in and bother
Thought
my
they were
wife.
just, yeah.
well, yeah,
thought it
I
was
was
the same deal.
I was trying to kind of figure out what would kind of justify her getting upset at this, but like I see the hot and cold
women's
water
clothes,
and
Yeah.
I definitely get that, but like now I'm curious because for me, I mean, I'm about to be 30 here in like a week or something, and I've never separated like whites and darks
Oh,
and
yeah.
reds and anything like that. So now I'm curious, does your wife do that? It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, we
like-
mostly make our kids. It's one of our kids' chores that they have
Okay.
to do that, and they separate
Wow.
like pants, like heavy pants, like my work pants and
Mhm.
jeans and all that, from colors, from whites, from like
It's just
my wife goes back through all that and
Wow.
separates her like
Yeah.
her delicates
Yeah.
and all that
that's
stuff. So
that's a
I just
lost
throw all my
art.
crap in there.
Yeah, that's a lost
we're
art.
dudes. That's what you do.
Lakin does that too. I mean,
I don't
Dude.
know. Well, I guess I was gonna say I don't know of anybody that separates it anymore. But I'm probably mostly talking to dudes, so that's probably
my
fair.
mom
That's fair.
used to separate whites and darks or whatever.
There's
My
But
like
mom
a
did
weird
too,
rolly
but-
thing that had like 3 bins. You could roll it around and like roll it to the washer and do that. And I remember us having to separate the whites and stuff in that rolly thing.
But I think that was mainly because she grew up in the 60s.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
I honestly kind of thought that like, and this is I don't know. I'm an idiot. So first of all, don't ever listen to me. But it's good that I'm on this show because I'm learning something actually. But like to me, I'm like, well, maybe like laundry detergent has just gotten better since I was a kid, and you don't have to separate it
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
honestly
probably.
that's my honest thought process, and I understand I'm probably an idiot.
No,
Yo,
I
man,
think you got
I-
some there.
Iced tea here. Stone Cold Steve Austin here. I want you to wash your laundry on cold tide. Pay me a bunch of
Closh
money
your
with
laundry, man.
laundry, bro.
It was so close. You almost had it.
Yeah, I almost had it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was trying to save it for you, and I was like, no, I
Don't
can't
worry
think
about
of
it.
anything.
Yeah,
to
I
combine.
can't save anything.
No.
Don't do it. We're dumb. But the number one thing that I catch myself apologizing for all the time. Shut up, Tim.
I can't do it. Every time there's a countdown, I have to.
the number one thing I find myself apologizing for is like my wife will make a noise, as in like she'll just like, and I'll ask like, everything okay? Are you all right? Or what's going on? Like that. And she's like, everything's fine. Why do you keep asking? And I'm like, you made the noise. You made a noise that like everything was not fine. So I had to ask.
Yeah.
It's like, it's only like as of recently where I like brought that up. I'm like, you just made a noise where everything wasn't fine. Do you hear you?
Right.
I think it's like an involuntary noise, but I have to like apologize because she like snaps on me, which understandably so, because me and my stupid brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, is everything not all right? I need to fix whatever this is.
Well, because like that's always the most annoying thing is like when you're fine and then somebody's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like,
why are you
stop?
asking?
So BJ, I think what this segment boils down to is this relationship's kind of pointing to like an abusive relationship. So you might want to check some things. And I know I was watching you take a drink and I was like, I can't stop talking now. Hopefully it doesn't go everywhere, but yeah. I know she's a wonderful lady, but she clearly has some mind control over you. All love.
Dude, 17 years?
All love.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I wait for you to take drinks and then I say it.
Right.
It does do that.
Right.
Well,
I was talking and saw you in the process, and I'm like, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. But you held it together. I'm proud of you.
I did it. I didn't spit it all over my microphone and have to curse myself into oblivion. Well, from there, that was 3 Dumb Things. Check out, Teach a Dummy podcast if you like 3 Dumb Things. If you guys have 3 Dumb Things that you think that need to be addressed at all, you can email us at teachadummy@gmail.com.
We will mention them.
Very true. So I did have a couple. I didn't get to fully read the articles or anything, but I wanted to. I had a couple. I mean, you can cut this up and do whatever you will with it, but I had a couple saved stories for current events.
Okay, right on.
Let me see if I can find where the heck they are on my phone now. I wanted to. Gosh darn it, Tim Talk.
Okay.
It's called a TED Talk.
Tim Talk.
Tim Talk.
It's going to be my own thing. It's going to be much dumber. I did have.
Doesn't matter. I found them.
Okay. Mine was going to be heavy anyways. I didn't want to actually talk about it.
Good. Well, we'll do that after.
All right.
Like there was a couple headlines that caught my eye. There was one that was debt collectors can now DM you on social media.
What?
Whoa.
Right? I didn't get to scan this article too much yet, but I thought that was just insane. That debt collectors can go through your social media to try and find you now.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I have a lot of like medical bills and stuff, and they called me again today, dude. They call me literally like 2 or 3 times a day, and it all comes from Covington, Ohio. I have no idea where that is. But
oh, dude, that sounds like the birthplace of COVID.
Right. But yeah, every time they call, I just ignore it. And today, like, because it was early in the morning, I was sick. I wasn't feeling good, and I got another call, and I just answered it, and I said, quit effing calling me, and hung up. Like, come on, guys. So, yeah, for them to now reach out via social media, I would be very, very upset.
Okay, so here's the paragraph that kind of looks like it describes some of it. Under the new debt collection rule from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, debt collectors must abide by some restrictions, but consumer advocates warn that these may not be enough to prevent harm to debtors. For one, debt collectors don't need a consumer's permission to reach out via social media. The rule doesn't limit the number of messages they can send. Oh my!
Yeah, but you could just block them too.
True. I wonder how that works.
How does it, I was going to say, do they just create like a profile?
It's so much more difficult to create a fake Facebook profile than it is to use a fake number. You can generate a fake number in 2 seconds.
Right.
So you can at least block them.
For one, a debt collector must send a private must send private messages that aren't viewable by your friends or the public. In other words, they can't post publicly on your Facebook page.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Overdue bill.
That
Still,
makes sense.
consumer advocates say that that doesn't go far enough, even though the messages are supposed to be private. Even with direct messages, there are risks that messages will go to the wrong people. April, I'm not going to try. Staff attorney of the National Consumer Law Center told CBS Money Watch, for example, if a debt collector wants to send a private message to John Smith on Facebook, the collector will need to select the correct John Smith.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
So that doesn't send the private information about alleged debt to the wrong person. Interesting.
Yeah,
Also,
you
like, what are you gonna do with people who have like different names and stuff?
Right.
And different
Like-
multiple profiles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's just not unless they have
it's not
their
realistic.
unless they have their social security number in their profile.
Mm.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think you got the right guy.
You ain't gonna find me.
Right.
So that I thought that was just an interesting headline. There was one other. Okay, so there was this FedEx driver. Okay, the headline. This is like 2 headlines later, but it says sheriff reveals more on FedEx debacle quotations that had packages dumped in a ravine. So apparently there was this FedEx driver who just backed up to a ravine and just started dumping crap in the ravine.
Had a really bad
Hey,
day and just
yeah.
like, F it.
I feel
Let's see. A FedEx driver made at least a half dozen trips to discard hundreds of packages in a wooded
Wow.
ravine in Blount County, Alabama, according to local authorities investigating the
all
matter.
these facts line up so far.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna have to say that too.
Yeah.
Roughly 450 people were victims of theft. Some of them residents of the county. Some of the blah, 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 blah. Let me find something else.
So wait, did it say he took a half a dozen trips?
It said
So he did it 6 times, or
Half a dozen,
at least,
yeah.
and dumped
more
like
than
the whole
400
truckload.
packages of various shapes and sizes found Wednesday, November 24th, in a ditch off a wooded trail near the small town of Hayden. Moon initially announced that his office is on his
So
office is
okay,
favored.
so this is my thought process because I'm clearly a degenerate. So he's dumping all these packages, right? So clearly,
Oh, dude, that picture is lit. Holy crap!
Dumping all their packages filled
There's like
with,
cat food.
filled
Oh,
with
man.
Confederate flags.
but so he's dumping all this stuff. Like obviously he doesn't care about his job. Maybe he's hoping to get fired or he's about to quit or something like that. So
Maybe he's daring them.
well, right, but so
I bet you
again,
won't.
since I'm a degenerate, is he going back and like picking some cool stuff up? Like
Oh,
if
maybe.
he's making 6
Yeah.
trips, because
Yeah,
normally
he's definitely stealing something.
just because I know people that have worked at the post office, I know obviously it might be a little different than FedEx, but they only load their truck in the morning, or maybe they might go on a second run. So I mean, this is over at least probably a week's time or more. You know, he's
So I
got to
was-
be going back and looking through it, right? He has
So over
to.
at
So he's
Cardinal,
keeping the stuff he wants, but he's dumping the
Well,
other
right.
stuff in the ravine.
well,
Right.
it said that there was investigation of theft.
Oh,
as well.
okay. All right.
And I don't know if it's like he dumped it there and other people were like, "Oh crap, look at this!"
Right.
Taking
Free
this.
stuff, you know?
Right.
But he over at Cardinal where I work, we had a UPS driver where he was explaining to us that we were his last drop and it was like 1:50 p.m. and he's like, I still have to be on the clock. They won't let me go home in case like somebody doesn't finish their run and I have to go get their stuff and take it. He's like, I'm going over to Barnes and Noble and have a coffee and drink and read a book.
Right.
And if they call me, cool. And if not, by 7:15 p.m. or whatever his,
Shit.
whatever
Or his
whenever
end
they're
time.
done, he would have just gone home at that point. He's just like, but I get paid to
Do
chill
nothing.
because he's like, I got all my run done.
Right.
But
Right.
if somebody screws up, I have to go fix their screw up. So it could be bad. It could be, hey, I'm getting paid to read a book.
So you have some
Yeah.
awesome days and some terrible
Well,
days.
I know somebody personally that literally just quit their post office job like this week or maybe
my.
last week, and she was telling me horror stories. I mean, she works locally. I don't know which branch. Obviously, I wouldn't say it, but she always had a huge run and sometimes had to again pick up for other people's and things like that. But but her standard run took her from like 8 a.m. to like 6:30 p.m. Like no matter how fast she did it. And and like they were working her 6 or 7 days a week and all this kind of stuff. And did you
know that like the post office, like on Sunday, you'll see like a post office, like a truck or something run around. They have a deal with Amazon that on Sundays they'll deliver those 2-day shipping Amazon packages just to kind of keep the post office afloat.
Right. Yeah, that's what she was saying too. She because I was like, well, don't you have Sundays off? Because she at one point was like, I've been working like 13 days straight or something. And I was like, well, I thought you had Sundays off. And she was like, no, we have to deliver all these freaking Amazon packages on Sundays. And she did not like it. And she was there for a couple years at least.
Wow.
And she is much happier now.
I'm sure.
I imagine.
Yeah.
The only thing in this article, like the end, is like the official release from FedEx, where it's like the security of our customers is the top priority of our committed.
Whatever.
Yeah,
bullshit.
exactly.
Bullshit.
So that's kind of all I had for current events for you guys. Did I talk to you, Adam, about they finally came out with I can't remember if I brought this up on one of your episodes or not, but they finally have enough data for why workers are really quitting and like the mass exodus of jobs and everything. Did I bring that up?
I don't, probably, but I have no idea. I don't remember anything ever. So
this is interesting. I was just talking to some people about it a little bit before, and kind of the reason I left and everything. They found, like, with the mass exodus of jobs and why people aren't staying with the current companies and everything, the number one answer given in this study of 2,000 employees conducted over half of them changing careers in the past 12 months. So this is like a rolling 12 months of like through the pandemic. Why are these people massively leaving companies and stuff? The number one answer: I hate my boss. Yeah. I hate my manager. Yeah. I hate my direct superior. And that's what it is. And and it's just interesting to see that it's not COVID or pay or anything else. It's your direct superior sucks.
Well, and it's so interesting because all three of us have management experience too, obviously. Right. Baker as well. Obviously, he's not here because I'm infected. I'm about to be a zombie. But it's just like, to me, I don't want to say it's common knowledge because it's not, but like being a manager, like, is
either have it or you don't, man.
Like, to be a good manager, like, it's not common knowledge, but it's pretty simple. Like, hey man, get to know your people, help them out. If they're struggling, help with their job. Like, it's not that hard to step in for a second, try to show them some tips and tricks, and like, talk about stuff that's not work sometimes. And it's pretty much that's for the most part all you need to do. All these bad managers that like are above me and stuff where I work now, I'm just like, God damn, like, Jesus, how did you get there?
Yep. I'll send you all these articles so you can post them for your listeners and everything.
Okay, cool.
But why don't we end real quick with some dad advice, which is a thing we do over here on the Teach Dummy podcast.
I like it.
But we got to listen to the bumper first.
Grab a tall glass of milk, a bag of potato chips, and sit down on the couch because it's a die-hard marathon. It's time for some dad advice.
Now you're a man. Now you're a man.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
That's beautiful. You're so good at that stuff.
You worked hard on that.
That's awesome.
So my dad advice, this was actually for our last episode, for episode 50, but Jarek Schaefer, shout out to Jarek, you're the man, sent us a good, like, holiday themed kind of question last week about, like, should you, against your family's kind of will, can you make new traditions for your immediate family, your significant
Your
other,
startup.
your kid. Exactly. If you want to listen, go to our episode 50, and I give a full in-depth thought process on that. The one thing that I was going to bring up is a work like this is something that gets me with jobs. They talk about work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell you, it's like, oh yeah, work your ass off for us, but we really value the work-life balance. Now, what I tried to really try to hone in on the work-life balance is time versus money. In the service industry, which is what I'm mainly in, is charging enough for the job that you do. And that got me thinking about time versus money. Basically, you also have to know your worth as a person to the organization that you work for. And this is something that I'm trying to instill in my children. And honestly, like the babysitter we have for our kids is like, she's got to be about 17 now, but she's thinking about college. And I tried to really impart upon her on a night that I had to take her home after, she watched the kids. She was like, oh yeah, I want to go to college and study this. And I'm like, you really need to understand your worth just as a human being right now in a world where the workforce is so different. Trade schools are going to become way more important than even certain college degrees. Being able to there's such a shortage of like contractors, carpenters, plumbers, HVAC people, and it's such high paying position that you need to be aware that those are options. They're not secondary options anymore. These are the front runners to people because their time is now being assessed properly. And in those positions, you can dictate what your hours are. We have my mother and father-in-law are having some major reconstruction to a kitchen and a 3 seasons room, 4 seasons room, whatever they call those. They're having major construction done to that. And the contractor is kind of dictating when he wants to be there, how he wants to do it. The guy's good at what he does. And they're going to be at the mercy of his talent.
Right.
Because they don't know who else to trust. I mean,
if he wants to be off for the day, he's like, you know what? I'll be there tomorrow. Right. I looked at the weather. It's supposed to maybe rain. And you know what? I don't want to work in the rain. So I'm going to take tomorrow off and we'll go to another.
I mean, obviously that depends on your reputation. So you probably have to build that up a little bit first, but
very good point. Now that's the other part I had was you need to what you want from a job and what you can bring to the job, and you need to be brutally honest with yourself about your skills, know your faults and how you learn. I'm very hands-on for my learning. I need to see somebody do it, then I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I going into a new job, I always have to bring that up. It's like, yep, you can write it down and tell me how to do something forever, but until I see somebody do it, I probably can't do it. But I've had the experience of being in the workforce for so long that there's so much that I've seen and done and understand that I can bring to your organization because I've seen it all done. But that's a huge thing. It's like most people just try to almost price themselves out of a position because they don't understand their faults. It's okay to be honest with a new employer. You don't have to lie through your teeth and say you can't do something. Trust in what you know and be honest with what you don't. And those things, if you're on, you have to, that has to be a certain way that you're honest in what you don't. Right. I don't know, with the new position I took, I don't know your processes for the thing that I've done for the past 12 years. I don't know your processes, but I want to learn how it is you do this process, so I can apply my knowledge to that and either elevate it or learn to do what you do.
Well, for me, just to kind of play like devil's avocado, shout out Baker. No, like I see what you're saying, and I absolutely agree with you. I guess the only thing I would say with that, as far as like knowing, kind of like your traits and how you learn and kind of things like that, and to disclose that info, I think that is good. And again, I agree with you, but I think that we have that mindset again because of our management experience. I think a lot of people that haven't been in that position may be kind of intimidated by managers and a new job, and I don't want to say the wrong thing and get let go right away, and kind of feel it out and things like that. So I agree with everything you said there, but I think we might have a different perspective than the average person because we know what we would appreciate. So in turn, when we get a new job, we do that for our new colleagues.
What I would say to that is be willing to be humbled is kind of where my thought process is.
Yeah.
So I come from a background, you can listen to a past episode of where my dad is on here, but my father was, when I was growing up, he was a supervisor in the McDonald's organization in our area, in the Mansfield area, right? So I'd been working like since I was like 7 years old. I'd come in, there's pictures of me working in that environment and stuff as a kid.
That's a violation.
That's child labor laws.
Kind of now. But there's lots of fond memories of me working at McDonald's very young. And as I got older, and when I was actually like actually working for McDonald's, when I was old enough to be employed, I kind of had a better than thou attitude. And I remember one specific where I was kind of pointing out and being like, yeah, you need to do this and this. Look at this. You need to change this, do this and this. And like the manager who was there at the time, like put me in my place. Like,
right.
Well, you just did this, this, and this. You're an idiot. And I remember being super like, oh, like it was kind of it was super embarrassing and I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went home and thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I was wrong. And it's like, I need to not do that again. I need to really listen to the people around me. So I guess a suggestion I would have on top of this discussion would be willing to accept your faults and be humbled in those situations. Don't get angry. I mean, you can be angry about that, but you need to accept your limitations in that as well and be like, okay, I don't have the experience to really,
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I would agree with that as well. Like, I don't know.
I've dealt with so many people who don't understand that.
Well,
who just think they're,
yeah, and it's an ego thing. It's again, I think it's just trying to impress somebody and be like, look, I'm so innovative, or I can do so many things, or I'm creative because you didn't think about doing it this way or in this order. And to your point, usually it's like, well, I see what you're doing, but actually by doing that, you're adding 4 extra steps. It doesn't seem like it, but in the back end, and you can explain to them kind of, hey, we've already tried that. So what I do is actually, I want to be humbled and things like that in a new job, but I find myself kind of challenging people, but in a respectful way. To not, I'm not going to be like, hey, I did this and this and this. I'm going to be like, hey, I see we're doing it this way. Have we ever done it this way? Like, what about this? And kind of things like that. And they'll be like, oh, well, you can't do it that way, or the system won't allow it, or policy won't allow it, or things like that. And that's a way to still show that you're thinking a different way or trying to be innovative, but also being respectful enough to being like, hey, I'm kind of the new guy. I understand I don't know everything. So let me kind of pose it in the right way. I'm a firm believer, and I've said this multiple times, probably on our show as well. It's like, I'm a firm believer you can say whatever you want to whoever you want, whenever you want, but you have to say it the right way. You have to say it the right way. So like what I described and what you described are virtually the same thing. It's just a different approach to it. And one of them comes across as cocky and arrogant and made you feel dumb and like all this kind of stuff. And the other one comes across as respectful and trying to understand a little more. So it's the same exact thing. It's just a different approach. And I think that's where I am on it. But you know.
As a manager I was a district manager for multiple stores for so long. My main thing, especially coming into that world where we were like, it's so hard to hire and everything, I would have taken a younger person who did not have the experience, had the attitude and the willingness to, like, when I said something, they they would like look at you like
and
they
actually
were
listen.
listening.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody, what was one of my older service techs that I had under me at one of my stores at one point put it in a way that it was, they're like, I don't bring me somebody that's teachable, bring me somebody that's learnable, where they can really absorb what I'm saying to them about how to, sharpen this mower blade or chain, absorb it and learn it instead of me teaching them and it kind of going in one ear and out the other. It kind of clicked with me in kind of my management style and stuff. Is like, oh, when I'm like interviewing and everything, I'm like, I need to find out how learnable these people are, to where they can absorb the information and retain it and do it. I mean, I understand how you sharpen a chain, but this is the way that this company expects you to sharpen the chain. That type of thing. So
I got a question because I got to jump off here in a couple minutes.
Yep,
but
that's fine.
I thought the dad advice was about traditions with family. So I don't know how we got on this topic. Did I miss something?
It's not all about family. It's just about situations in life.
Well,
okay. I was thinking like holidays.
This one?
Yeah.
That was the last one. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of how it started. Yeah.
Okay.
The last one was about holidays and
gotcha.
how.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
go
like
to episode
very
50.
confused. Okay.
It was plugging.
I was kind of plugging. You're right. You can check us out on our Patreon and hear it, or you can go to you can just look us up on any podcasting platform. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah.
Well,
and you can hear episode 50. That's where we talk
Gotcha.
specifically about Derek's question, where it was.
Well, the reason I had to double check is, like, to be honest with you, I don't know if you guys have heard about this when people get COVID or anything like that, but like the brain fog is so real.
Oh,
like I legitimately, like, I'm talking to people all day, and they'll reference something that they said earlier, and I did not get it. Like, it's just the brain fog is so insane that I'm forgetting like everything more than normal because I already forget everything. And so I was like, I might have just blacked out for 3 minutes and don't know what happened.
No, you're good.
I'm saying, welcome back.
But yeah, just double checking.
Adam, thanks for kind of letting us do this weird crossover.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
I've always wanted to call it a simulcast. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think simulcasts are normally live.
You think a couple
maybe.
dummies don't know the answer to that?
I don't know.
Maybe Tim does.
I'm trying to learn something on your podcast, so
you won't.
And
don't even try.
I can't look anything up here. It's against the rules unless you guys are here. So, but yeah, guys, it's been fun
accepting us. Thank you for accepting us as, just being friends and stuff.
Of course, man.
We 100% enjoy being on your show.
It's true. It's wild. It gets wild. Well, let me do a little bit of shameless plug.
Please do.
If you guys haven't yet, please go check out the Average AF podcast. We're everywhere. Every audio platform. We're on YouTube as well. All the socials, Patreon. I mean, everything. We got merch. We got everything that you could ever want. But these two lovely gentlemen help us out every week with producing the show, bringing up great current events, kind of keeping me and my co-host on track because things get wild. You'll notice on a couple episodes, if they are not there, the conversations just get weird. So it's a blessing and a curse.
When we're not there,
I get mad. I get mad.
I always see you like this last episode, which was a great episode with Jeremiah, with Jeremy. Sorry, Jeremy's dad.
Jeremiah. It is Jeremiah. Yeah,
right,
you're right.
But you were like, well, if we had our guys here, they would
right.
They would look that up for us. Every time I'm listening, I'm like, man, I'm so sorry.
I just have to, I have to give you a little shot here and there, like, oh well, yeah, I guess our audience can't enjoy that fun fact since nobody's ever going to be able to look it up. So,
I liked the YouTube intro with my movie.
Yep.
Whatever intro I did for you guys. That was fun.
I specifically learned how to do that with the spinning logo and the blur and stuff because I do have. Okay, well, let me go off on a little tangent here, if you don't mind. I went on Twitter, right? I should have went to Fiverr, like we talked about. I went to Twitter,
right,
and I put on there, hey, we need a new video intro because we got new audio. We need it to sync up and all this kind of stuff, and somebody hit me up. I looked at their profile. They do great work and all this kind of stuff. All good. Hired them, paid them, talked about it, everything, all the works, all this kind of stuff. Now, they didn't like blow me off or anything. So I'm not speaking bad about them, but I uploaded clips and, like the images of our stuff and the audio to Google Drive. I don't think you guys know where I'm going, but they were a fine person to work with. But but uploaded it all to Google Drive, all that, sent them the link, discussed it with them. Hey, we just want this kind of vibe, use these clips, sync it up with the new intro, all this kind of stuff. And they sent it back, and they were like, hey, here's the video. And I'm like, that's cool. They're like, I haven't added the audio yet, but I just wanted to make sure all the video's good. And then I'll add the audio to send it to you. I'm like, all right, cool, And it looked good. I was like, cool. And then, so they sent me the video, but it had a different audio, like just a random weird, like 45-second, like, I don't know. Huh. And I was like, what is that? And I was like, that's not our intro. And they were like, what do you mean? Man. And so I explained it to them. I was like, the intro's in there. Like, can you sync it up? And so they sent it to me with the video and BJ's intro. And it just, like, didn't work. Like, it just didn't flow. And, like, yeah. And I was kind of bummed. And I'm like, look, like, we discussed this. Like, this is exactly why we were doing this. They are still working on it. They promised to make it right, which is good. And again, why I'm not like bad mouthing them or anything, but I'm like, this was a simple instruction and you made a whole video and you didn't follow the one instruction I needed and you wasted like 3 days. So but all that to say, that's why I had that blurred intro with the spinning logo. I was like, I want to play the intro, but I need something there. You know what I mean? Right. I can't just have like just a video of us just randomly with the audio off. I'm like, that's just, It's
true. Also, that was I made that just with the inkling of being a goofball.
Well,
there was nothing behind it. He needs to do this or that or the other. I just was being a goofball and was seeing if I could actually do it.
Yeah, well, it's epic, and we're going to use it. So, but I like to be a perfectionist, so I want a new, pretty intro video with it. It's been a while. We haven't switched it up since right around when Baker joined the show, which was
true.
Which was what, like 70 episodes ago or something. Wow. So yeah, I'm like, all right, we can get a new intro and all this kind of stuff.
I've talked to Mike as well about re-recording your theme.
Okay.
Kind of your intro theme, and we're gonna just try to do a version of it.
Okay.
Just because why not?
Hey.
Like I talked to him about doing like a a revisioning of the Greener Grass podcast intro too. I'm like, I like my friends. Let's try to do something cool for them.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. Yeah, and for anybody who's watching my show right now, since we're simulcasting or whatever the fuck we're calling it, make sure to check out Teach a Dummy podcast. They are awesome. We definitely wouldn't have a great show without them. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
That's just fun.
And I appreciate you guys checking in too the Rona.
We love
and
you.
all that.
I hope you get better soon. All that good stuff.
Love you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
I will see you, Adam.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was really fun with the Teach a Dummy guys there. They definitely learned me something. That's what my dad always said. Did you learn me something? And they are definitely the intelligent part of our show every week. So we can't thank them enough. Definitely check them out as well. Teach a Dummy podcast on all the audio platforms and everything like that. And they do obviously help us out every week on our show too. So you get a steady dose of being taught and being a dummy. You come here to be a dummy. You go there to learn something. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I got to turn this thing off. We appreciate you guys. And I guess I got to be Baker today. Until next week, peace.